I have a confession to make. I'm not a drummer. I wish I was a drummer. I wish I can play a rock solid groove with great time and make people feel like dancing. I have drums. I can play them, but I'm not a drummer. So let me tell you what happened. I was about to record a video series on miking the drum set, and then I was going to do a mixing thing, and I was going to have isolated tracks on Soundtrap for a whole band so people can work on mixing the band. So I was going to mic the drum set in different ways. And I was experimenting with the two mic setup. You can see I got a mic over there and a mic on the kick drum. It's got the mix sounded pretty good. And then I went to play with the metronome. And it wasn't pretty. Let's just say that. So I did what anybody would do, is I shirked all responsibilities and I wrote myself a method on how to improve this fundamental thing that a drummer needs to be able to do, which is like groove. And I tried to figure out what was wrong with my playing. What did I need to address? Why didn't it sound good? So I think there are four elements that are often overlooked, but are the most important things that a drummer needs to be able to play like a solid groove. The first thing is steady beat. So you need to be able to play with a metronome, or be able to play with something that doesn't have a metronome and be able to just like lock in that steady beat, and once it's in, like not be able to slow down or speed up, not second guess yourself, just lock it in and then be able to relax inside of that groove. The second thing is subdivision. So a subdivision is an equal division of the beat. So you have your steady beat, and then you could divide that beat into 2, 3, 4, 6 different equal parts, and making those subdivisions even as possible. That's the second thing, so subdivision. The third thing is volume. So when you're playing, you want everything to be at consistent volumes. That doesn't mean that you're going to play everything exactly the same volume, but if you're doing like a push-pull, like a t-t-t on the hi-hat, the pushes should be pretty much at the same volume level. The pull should be pretty much at the same volume level. The snare drum needs to be at the same volume level unless you're doing ghost notes. If you're doing ghost notes, the ghost notes should be at the same volume level. Yeah, you can fix it with compressors and stuff, but think about if you were going to play live without going through a PA with a bunch of different effects. Like if you're going to play live and maybe you're just mic'd and that's it, no effects, like you need to play as if it sounds like it has studio magic on top of it without any studio magic. So I think volume is one of those big ones. And then the last one, you would think it would be time. You would think it would be subdivision, but it's not. It's like limbic togetherness. So we have limbs, got arms, got legs. But if you play like all four limbs at the same time, I bet they're not 100% together. So those four things I haven't been focusing on. Like I rarely play drums. When I play, I'm playing mostly drums on the keyboard. But I wrote a couple exercises for myself to work on these things. So I want to share them with you. So the first one, it is as basic as possible. You're playing this super like easy groove. The hi-hat's only playing quarter notes, kicks on 1 and 3, snares on 2 and 4, and you're doing it for 8 measures. So it's enough time to stay focused on it and not just let it go. You're not playing along with the music. You're staying focused. This exercise is 6 minutes, and like it is a marathon. It's a marathon of focus. But the more focused practice you can put into this, the better your groove's going to be. So we take the quarter note and then we make it 8th note on the hi-hat, and then 8th note triplet, and then 16th notes, really focusing on the shift of subdivision, making sure it's even, making sure that the steady beat doesn't change. And then when we get to here, the kick is on all 4 beats. And then you do the exact same thing. 8 measures each time. Quarter note, 8th note triplet, 16th note. And then we get to here. Now we're going to use all 4 limbs. So this right here, that is your hi-hat pedal. So your hi-hat pedal is going to mirror the snare drum. Hi-hat pedal is going to play on 2 and 4, and then you're going to repeat the whole sequence. So quarter notes on the hi-hat, kick on 1 and 3, snare on 2 and 4, then eighth notes, then eighth note triplets, then 16th notes. And then you get to here, and it's the same sequence, and now the kick's on all 4 beats. So if you look at beats 2 and 4, all 4 limbs have to play at the exact same time, which again works on that 4th thing. So, this is good. You could play it with a metronome, but I wanted to challenge myself even more and make it musical. Anytime I do any sort of like exercise, I want to make it as musical as possible. Otherwise, for me, it gets stale. And then when you put it in a musical context, sometimes there's a disconnect between what you wanted to get out of it and what actually happened. Sometimes it feels good grinding your gears on an exercise with a metronome. And then when you get into a musical context, it doesn't translate. So what I did was I sunk it to a backing track. And this backing track does not have a metronome. This backing track is super sparse. And it's kind of hard to find the beat in there. So this really forces the steady beat part of this exercise. You really got to be able to like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you're new to this sort of thing, I think a great first exercise would just be to count along with it. Because again, that first element that we need to work on is steady beat. So count along with it. And then go through and count along the different subdivisions. So I just had quarter note, now I have eighth note. So I would count, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and then we go to eighth note triplet, 1 pull at 2 pull at 3 pull at 4 pull at, and then 16th notes, right? So you have that whole thing. It's about 6 minutes, and I gave it a couple goes. I was practicing it for a while. I pressed record. I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to show it to you warts and all. I'm also going to give you a link to this Noteflight Score with the audio on there. And then I'm going to create another video that I'll tag in the description that is just the Noteflight Score with the audio of the backing track. So you can just play along with the YouTube video. So, yeah, that's it. I'm going to play through it. Don't play along with mine, because mine does have some mistakes. I'm working on this. I created this exercise last night, and I worked on it all morning, but I'm not 100% perfect at it yet. You need to figure out where you are. Find where you are within those 4 categories. Remember, steady beat, subdivision, dynamics, and then that limbic togetherness. And then, record yourself and be honest with yourself, because it's really easy to say like, yeah, that was good. And then listen back and be like, oh, ooh. So be honest with yourself. And this isn't as cool as learning a crazy drum fill. This isn't as cool as working on your Mark Giuliani 16th note beat displacements or something. Mark Giuliani, he's a mayor. Don't worry about that. So I'm going to play you mine. I'll link all that in the description. Good luck with this, and we'll see you in the shed.